Want me to tell you how I met Elle?
Yeah. Sure.
How I found her?
Yeah.
Michelle MacNeill adopted 4 girls.
I got on the computer, I typed in international adoption, and I saw this little girl, and I said, I have to have her. It was on the computer when she's 8, and I said, I've got to have her.
Elle, Ada, Sabrina, and Giselle.
Giselle was the oldest adopted daughter, and she had family members back in the Ukraine. Just a few months after Michelle's death, Martin decided to send Giselle back to the Ukraine for the summer.
I got text messages from Gypsy saying, your father is too ill to go to Ukraine. Is there any way you can take her over to Ukraine to be with her sisters for the summer? My dad had just basically said, we'll get her after the summer.
Martin sold this as this great chance for Giselle to go back and visit with her sister in Ukraine. That was all baloney. Martin and Gypsy had bigger plans once Giselle was on that plane headed to the other side of the world. They were right at work, stealing Giselle's identity.
Martin had actually taken Giselle's social security number and created a new identity for Gypsy.
He gave his daughter Giselle's identity to his girlfriend.
They went into court and changed the birth date, 20 years. That's called perjury.
Gypsy Willis used the identity Jillian Giselle MacNeill and alleged that she was the spouse of Martin MacNeill. The investigation also found that on that form, the marriage date that was listed on that form so happens to be the funeral date for Martin's former wife, Michelle MacNeill, April 14th of 2007.
How did this idea come up to take Giselle's identity?
When I got together with Martin, I had a lot of tax debt, probably in the range of $50,000 or $60,000. This was Martin. This is Martin's idea. This was Martin's activity.
Why did you do it?
I said I didn't want to. He said that this is the best way to do it. It's temporary. It's not going to hurt anybody. No one will notice.
You're talking about a state ID card. You're talking about bank accounts that were opened up under false names.
Martin did a lot of things that were not very sensible.
So you're saying Martin did all of this without your knowledge?
He would tell me he was doing things, and I'd be like, okay, whatever.
You got 2 fake military ID cards, 3 joint banking accounts using a fake name. You got a fake birth certificate, a fake Utah state ID card, and a fake social security card. And you're saying all you did was sort of sign away and not ever ask or wonder how many laws I've broken? How could you be a passive participant in that?
Martin was very powerful. He was very influential. I just assumed that he knew what he was doing. He'd been successful all of his life.
Gypsy, you're an educated person. You bonded over quantum physics. And now you want me and us and authorities to believe that you just checked your brain at the door and agreed to all this?
When you love someone, you do things that don't make a lot of sense. He had everyone confused. He was this pillar of the community. He'd been bishop twice. I mean, he had all of the accoutrements to be convincing.
Giselle had no idea what was going on, that her identity was being stolen.
So that was his whole motivation for abandoning his adopted daughter in the Ukraine. Michelle adopted her for a reason, and that reason wasn't just to have her get shipped back.
When Michelle's sister Linda discovered Giselle was still in the Ukraine, she set plans in motion right away to bring her back and sent her daughter Jill to go to the Ukraine. Once she arrived, she discovered that Giselle had been living in deplorable conditions.
There's one room, and it has a pull-out sofa bed, and it's her sister's husband, and their 2 kids, and they all share that bed. There was a little pan on the floor, and I was like, what's this in the bathroom? And she's like, well, that's like our shower or whatever. You just stand in there.
Here's Giselle. Her last day in Ukraine. Thank goodness she's excited.
You have to have such compassion for Giselle. She thought she was going to the Ukraine for a couple of months, and she ended up staying nearly a year. What the family didn't know was that this incredibly compassionate act of going to rescue Giselle and bring her home would put a total wrench in all of Martin's plans.
Because now there's 2 people with that social security number, there's 2 people with that name.
Once the identity theft was uncovered, Martin and Gypsy were both arrested, and they were both convicted and sentenced to separate prisons where they served time for the identity theft.
Martin is gone, but not forever. He's only behind bars for 4 years, a 4-year sentence. So the family knows he'll be out eventually, and it leaves them time to basically wonder, what else is Martin MacNeill capable of doing?
He is a predator, and he's going to be roaming the streets in just a short time. And that to me is a very, very scary thing.